Greetings internet and welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. In this video I'm going to be looking at Airbridge to Victory by GMT Games, which came out in 1990, so I think this is one of their very first releases. This was gifted to me by Ruggiero on Clark Commando 1983. Absolutely fantastic guy who I've been conversing with. He has his own channel. The details of the channel will be in the description below. And we're planning to do a War and Peace, the 1813 campaign, after he's been following my game. We discussed Anzio and such forth. So we've been in communication. I mentioned that well, he was showing, I think, one of this on his channel, and I said, well, I don't have this one. I used to have Hell's Highway, used to have Highway to the Reich, and I used to have the SPI quad games of the campaign, Westwall, I think it was. Had Arnhem in there. And yeah, he said he had multiple copies of this. He had an unboxed version, and he posted it through to me all the way from America. So thanks, bud, much appreciated. And I thought, well, let's have a look. I didn't pick it up at the time in 1990 because I didn't know about GMT games. I mean, the first GMT game I knew about was SPQR. I think that's about 92. So yeah, well, anyway, let's get down. I'm not going to play this right now. I'm just going to have a look at it, see what's in the, I say box, in the package, and give my initial thoughts. So let's go down to the map and have a look. And my initial thoughts are, it's a blooming big map. It's 1.5 map sheets. So we're starting over here with, let's try and not knock everything. We've got Arnhem. So I've only sort of, I haven't laid it perfectly flat. The main problem I have is the only way I'm going to fit this on my one board, you can see I've got my little board there, is, well, it won't fit. Now I do have a 2 map board, but that takes over my entire table. And then, so I don't know how long this will take to play. Ideally, I wouldn't want to take over my entire table because I have a couple of games going at the same time, which I can swap using these boards. But, so it's bigger than my standard board, so it's bigger than what I anticipated. And overall, looking at the map, it's very brown. It's very brown. I mean, even the woods are sort of just like black lines within the brown. I probably would have liked those to pop a bit more. However, what does pop are those rivers, and maybe that's because of the emphasis on the game. Now the actual play area, because there's a lot of space, as you can see, a nice little diagram of a paratrooper, a lot of space taken up by a combat results table. I don't normally like combat results tables on maps, because then you've got to lean over and squint at them, especially with our eyesight declining. So I might actually make a copy of that, or I could do the sacrilege, couldn't I? I could cut it. No, don't say that. No, I'll photocopy it. Turn record track here. It's done a bit weird. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but there we go. And as a lot of these games, it's a long way from there all the way to there, where the airborne need to be relieved. Continuing down the map, we have armor results and effects. Again, so it looks like all the charts that are required are on the map. Now, this will create maybe a little bit of a solo playing problem. My arms at full stretch. So that means I'll probably be playing from that side, looking at, so everything's going to be upside down. I don't know about you, but my reading upside down ain't great. The other option is, again, we've got different combat results people here, is I put the camera on the map and then move everything a bit closer. So that's probably what I'll do. So there might be some weird camera angles in the shooting of this. And I do intend to play it. So that's the map. We have a terrain effects chart. So you've basically got clear, mixed. Most of the terrain looks mixed. Road, highway, the highway to the right. The woods, urban terrain, airfields, ferry hex sites. So there's quite a lot of different river. You've got ferry, bridge, just plain river, canals and ridges. So the map is basic. But then again, do you need more than that? Don't know. But it looks like an adequate map to relieve the situation. And I say, it would have been nice if it was, well, it doesn't need to be smaller, does it? I mean, my table needs to be bigger. Let's be truth be told. So yes, the counters currently unpunched and unclipped. Well, obviously they're unclipped if they're unpunched. There's 1.5 counter sheets. Nice colours. It still has these little annoying nubs in here. I'm going to have to get a Stanley knife to cut them and then clip them. But we have British Airborne, United States Airborne, British Ground, SS, Wehrmacht, and a half counter sheet with a bit more Wehrmacht, and then some actual game counters. Clear, centre, yeah, nicely made. How they will punch out, well, as I say, I'm going to cut them out of the stand knife because I don't like these little nubbins. Anything that can get rid of those little nubbins. If you saw my game on Caesar's Legions, yes, counters have definitely improved. If anything, okay, maps are obviously definitely improved as well, but counters probably the most important part for me. I do not like untidy counters with fluff. But I think with a Stanley knife, they'll cut nicely. There's one game chart. It says on the rulebook that there's 4, but there is actually only 1 because all the other game charts are on the map. And this looks like it is a reinforcement schedule. So that will go through what an airpoint track. Sorry about the shadow. My actual proper light has decided that it's I feel very tired. I'm not going to work properly. So I'm going to have a look at that. Maybe it's the bulb's gone on it or something. So I'm using normal standard lighting. Yes, this is late in the evening, but I wanted to put this out here because I've just finished Caesar's Legions. I'm playing it. I'll probably upload this before I put the last few episodes of Caesar's Legions up. But Caesar's Legions finished, so I thought, well, this is the next one I want to do. What do I need to get it to the table? There is an intro scenario which deals with just fighting on that map, so I might just do that. Just to get a feel for it, for you guys to get a feel for it and let me know what you think. And that way it doesn't take up that much space. And then I can sort of check out a few videos and see how long this will take. If it can be done in a, recording these things does take about twice as much time as normal playing the game. And also to assess how it plays solo, because I've got no real guide on this. And the last thing to look at is the rulebook. Now the rulebook isn't that big. We're talking does it really say? 10 pages of rules and then 6 pages of other stuff. So 10 pages of rules, alright, there's no diagrams. Again, back in the 1990s, well, I assume there's examples as we're going through it. I think the great old highlighter pen will be coming out. But I can see normal things like movement, stacking, terrain, the drop zones for the paras. Can't see zones of control. Artillery movement. Assault combat considerations. So it's different because it looks like there's two different kinds. You've got maneuver combat and assault combat, and initiative and reinforcement. So 10 pages of rules. Yeah, that's manageable, isn't it? And then we've got the breakout of guard's armor, which is a 1 turn. In fact, it's a half game turn scenario because the Germans don't get to do anything other than sit there and get kicking. And it gives notes on here that advise you to play that a couple of times to get to know how to use the various assets. And then you've got, well, they call it a tournament scenario. I'm not sure, you know, is that the campaign? It seems to be the only other scenario in here. Maybe there was more in, had they started their C3I by this time? I remember my first C3I, I sort of bought, I did buy the Premier one. Was that 92 as well? Blimey. So I don't know if there's any additional scenarios for this in the early versions of the C3I. I stopped around about 15, 16 because it was that they had many games by that time, and many of the games they had I didn't have. So there's two scenarios in here. Effectively a learning, how to kick the German scenario, and then the full tournament campaign game. And then you've got what I like, designer's notes, historical notes, that's good, and then the sequence of play. And that is a big sequence of play considering it's only 10 pages of rules. But I'll have to analyse that and break that down. So that's it. That's everything that was in the packet. So let's bring this after one last final scan of the map and bring this back up to me. So this could be interesting. Currently I don't have a game. Well, now I do. I didn't have a game on the Arnhem campaign. I was looking at Holland 44. Again, it wouldn't fit on my table. I did have Highway to the Right, 5 maps. It was 5 maps, 1, 2, 3, and then 2, yeah. Definitely used to fit when I had a large wargaming table, but that took a phenomenal amount of time to play. I remember playing that with somebody. We actually worked it out that we were able to do 1 turn every 3-hour session. We were able to do 1 3-hour session per week, and there was 104 turns. That's 2 years. We packed it up when we worked that out. It wasn't that exciting either, to be perfectly fair. I remember playing it when I was a school kid, and it was great because there was nothing else out there, and it was fantastic. But when I actually played it, I say recent, we're talking about 95 probably, or maybe 98. In and about that time, late 90s, that I played Highway to the Reich, and it was very dated. I'm not sure what the new Decision Games is, if they tweaked the rules at all. They could have done, but I wouldn't buy it anyway because I definitely don't have the space for it at present. I do plan to be getting a war game room at some point in the near future, 2024, and then I can play these bigger games. However, I do want to play this. I'm intrigued, and it was a gift, an unanticipated gift. So again, thank you, Mark, for forwarding this on to me, and it's much appreciated. And to show that appreciation, I would like to play it, and I hope people will be attracted to your channel because you do cover some of the games that I don't. You've done the Civil War recently, which was interesting. Yeah, I've got Civil War and I would like to do at some point, but yeah, you're doing the Axis Empire at the moment. You've done World War III, so we've got some games in common, but a lot of games that are different, and I hope you guys will actually go over there and check him out. So that's Clark Commando 1983, and his name's Mark Ruggiero, and he's a wonderful guy. Check out his videos. They're well worth a watch. I haven't really got much more to say. That's my unboxing, or my unpacking, whatever you want to call it. My initial thoughts. Any comments that you would like to add, especially if you know if there's any additional scenarios in the C3Rs. I've still got them somewhere, probably in storage. So if any of you know if there were any additional scenarios for this, maybe ones that cover just the island beach, because then I can probably fit it all on one of my boards, which allows me to change the boards when I need to do a different game. So comments much appreciated. But until then, play games, have fun, buy internet,